working to connect a region of over 600 million bridges between our lands.
Hello and welcome to ASEAN in Focus. I'm Maricar Velasco delivering to you the latest news in and around the ASEAN region. On today's headlines. The Department of Education, or DepEd, is now ready for the May 13 midterm elections and officials set Thursday. Indonesia's economy grew slower than expected in the first quarter, official data showed Monday, as exports contracted for the first time since 2016 owing to softer demand for key commodities. The closure of the glittering Thai Bay, made famous by the movie The Beach, has been extended for another 2 years to allow a full recovery of its corals and wildlife, an official said Thursday, drawing a sharp rebuke from the tourism industry. The Department of Education, or DepEd, is now ready for the May 13 midterm elections, an official said Thursday. DepEd Undersecretary Annalyn Sevilla said they have already conducted a series of clustered conferences on the DepEd Election Task Force in Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, according to the press briefing. Teachers and non-teaching personnel with poll duties would be provided adequate information and technical and legal assistance through the ETF, she added. Apart from the ETF and training of teachers and non-teaching personnel with poll duties, Sevilla said the DepEd has also started the preparation of 36,830 schools, which will be used as poll precincts nationwide. Citing the provisions of Republic Act 10756, or Election Service Reform Act, Sevilla said that 531,307 officials, teachers, and non-teaching personnel would be provided honoraria, travel allowance, and other benefits.
Handang-handa na po tayo. Lahat po ng preparasyon na dapat gawin ay ginawa na po natin. Ang ating mga silid-aralan ay handang-handa na po. Makakaasa po kayo na magiging maayos ang eleksyon sa Lunes. Humigit kumulang nasa 240 to 250,000 po yung mga kaguruan na nating magsisilbi bilang miyembro ng election board. Dapat mangyari yung kalahati po ng mga halagang ibibigay sa umaga pa lamang bago po nila kuhain yung kanilang mga election paraphernalia. Yung balanse dapat ibigay kapag isosoli na sa hapon sa Kapitolyo, sa City Hall, sa munisipyo, pag binigay na po sa canvassing board, yung mga paraphernalia na kinuha nila sa umaga. Kung hindi po ito nangyari through the COMELEC election officers, ang sabi po ng batas, within 15 days, dapat matanggap po na nila yung balanse ng mga halaga.
It's the first anniversary since Malaysia's historic polls saw embattled leader Najib Razak getting the boot. The country's Prime Minister Mahathir Mohamad meets foreign media to give his take on progress made so far and adds he'll be able to achieve most of the corrections within 2 years.
As a democratic country, majority support is very important. Yes, these ideas coming out of the West about freedoms and all that are very good, but the fact is that there are things that they don't like about Western freedom. We see in the West no more respect for marriages, no more respect for family, and family definition is changed. Man can live with another man, and that's a family. All kinds of this nonsense. We don't want. Our relation with China is very good. I was there twice already since I became Prime Minister, and at each occasion I was given I call it proper treatment by the government.
Thailand election officials announced final results nearly a month after the March 24 vote, which show that the army-backed party needs only a small number of allies to get enough votes to allow coup leader Prayut Chan-o-cha to cling to power.
จำนวนพรรคอยู่ในประกาศนะครับผมน่าจะเป็น26อ่ะไม่รวมพรรคเพื่อไทยเพราะไม่มีแบบบัญชีรายชื่อครับที่129ก่อนกรณีไม่ครบเขตเราจึงประกาศได้แค่จำนวนสสที่พึงมีที่จะจัดสรรให้พรรคการเมืองตามมาตรา129คือ149คนเมื่อได้รับการเลือกตั้งจากที่เขต8เชียงใหม่เนี่ยนะครับเมื่อประกาศเป็นสสเขตแล้วนะครับต้องประกาศแล้วนะครับก็จะมาเป็นการคำนวณใหม่ซึ่งเรื่องพวกนี้ก็จะอยู่ภายใน1 ปี
Thailand's army-backed party needs only a small number of allies to get enough votes to allow coup leader Prayut Chan-o-cha to cling to power, according to final election results released late Wednesday that were immediately challenged by anti-junta rivals. The junta-linked Palang Pracharat party now has 115 seats in the lower house, only 11 votes shy of a majority in the combined parliament thanks to 250 military-appointed senators. The results were announced more than a month after the March 24 vote, the first election since the military seized power in a 2014 coup. It was held under the new rules crafted by the generals, including the creation of appointed senators who can vote for prime minister. Palang Pracharat party leader Uttama Savanayana said on Facebook after the results that it is ready to work and move forward with their policies they promised to the people. Despite the built-in advantage, the lower house results leave the party needing a little help from coalition partners. The most obvious candidates are Buvjatai and the Democrat Party, which both have more than 50 lower house seats. Officials from both said Wednesday they have yet to reach a decision. Longtime Democrat official Sirit Chok Sofa told media the party is split. The election was widely seen as a choice between junta-backed rule and those aligned with billionaire ex-premier Thaksin Shinawatra. A whopping 27 parties will have seats when Parliament convenes within 15 days. Wednesday's results are likely to set off horse trading negotiations and challenges. 4 prisoners were killed during a riot at a northern Myanmar jail, officials said Thursday, coming on the heels of an amnesty which saw more than 6,000 inmates released, including high-profile Reuters reporters Wallon and Kyaw Soe. The unrest at Sagaing Region's Shrebo prison began on Wednesday evening, according to Chief Minister Myint Naing. He said they were demanding for equal rights. They became anarchic, adding that everything was now under control. Myint did not say how the prisoners died. Military spokesman Zhao Mintun said border affairs officials were called in to control the situation. They heard there was some shooting, adding that there were also reports of unrest in jails in Karen and Kachin states. The violence in Shawebo comes days after more than 6,000 people were freed in the latest round of presidential pardons, part of an annual prisoner amnesty granted by Myanmar President Win Myint. According to local newspaper 11 Media, Prison Department Director Min Tun Soe said the riots were triggered over the inmate anger at not being included in the amnesty. In total, 23,000 prisoners were released in 3 rounds of pardons since April 17.
the Philippines, Manila or Quezon City is a popular destination. But oftentimes the hustle and bustle of the city can be more stressful on your vacation. So when you feel the need to reconnect to nature or relax again, there's a beautiful oasis just outside of the city called the Garden at Ciudad de Victoria. Some of the species that you can see here include hydrangea, snapdragon, and stargazers. They're truly beautiful. The gardens at Ciudad de Victoria are so peaceful, tranquil, and beautiful that it's become a haven for young couples and a very popular venue for engagement photos. The next time you want an escape from the big city, the garden at Ciudad de Victoria is a wonderful place to visit.
Welcome back. Indonesia's economy grew slower than expected in the first quarter, official data showed Monday, as exports contracted for the first time since 2016 owing to softer demand for key commodities. Southeast Asia's biggest economy expanded 5.07% in January to March, nearly flat from a year earlier and missing market estimates of 5.18%. An uptick in government and household spending buoyed growth, but imports and exports fell from a year ago while the gross domestic product declined from the last quarter of 2018, according to the Statistics Agency. The commodities-driven economy has been faced with widening trade deficits and rocky global demand for export drivers like palm oil and coal. Research house Capital Economics said in a report after the figures were published, exports are likely to remain weak. It added they expect global growth to soften a bit further over the coming quarters and for the prices of Indonesia's main commodities, exports, coal and palm oil, to remain subdued. The data comes several weeks after Indonesia's held polls that saw President Joko Widodo elected to a second term. According to unofficial results, official figures are due to this month. Widodo leaned heavily on a multi-billion-dollar infrastructure push, including Jakarta's first mass rapid transit system in the campaign. However, his administration has seen annual growth hover around 5% a year, well short of earlier pledges to hit 7% despite the huge infrastructure building blitz and stimulus packages. The country's gross domestic product growth slowed to 5.6% in the first quarter of 2019, the Philippine Statistics Authority said on Thursday, May 9. The PSA said this was slower than the 6.5% growth recorded in the first quarter of 2018. According to the PSA, trade and repair of motor vehicles, motorcycles, personal and household goods, manufacturing and financial intermediation were the main drivers of growth for the quarter. Services, the PSA said, had the fastest growth at 7%, followed by industry at 4.4%. According to the PSA, agriculture, hunting, forestry, and fishing had a growth of 0.8%, adding with the country's projected population reaching 107.4 million in the first quarter of 2019, per capita GDP grew by 3.9%. It said, meanwhile, per capita GNI and per capita household final consumption expenditure posted corresponding growths of 3.3% and 4.6%. Philippine coconut oil or CNO exports this year could grow at an annualized rate of 2% in terms of volume as local manufacturers expect the United States and European countries to increase their orders. However, the outlook of producers on earnings from CNO, the country's top farm export, remains bleak as world prices continue to stumble due to the persistent global vegetable oil glut. United Coconut Association of the Philippines, or UCAP, Executive Director Yvonne T.V. Agustin said her group expects total CNO shipments this year to reach around 970,380.06 metric tons in copra terms, 2% higher than the 951,353 metric tons recorded last year. Agustin said in an interview they project the increase despite the current global situation because they anticipated an uptick in demand from the markets due to low prices. Agustin added that the U.S. and European markets would remain the main buyers of Philippine CNO. The country fell short of hitting its shipment target of 1 million metric tons last year, as it was only to export 951,353 metric tons due to plunging global CNO prices. Nonetheless, total CNO shipments last year was 4.2% higher than the 923,842 metric tons exported in 2017. The country's CNO exports in the first quarter rose by 9.4% to 221,185 metric tons from 202,164 metric tons in the January to March period of 2018, UCAP's preliminary estimated shows. Agustin described the growth rate as normal as traditional buyers continue to purchase CNO from the Philippines need to meet their demand. However, Agustin disclosed that the value of total shipments in the 3-month period declined by 50% year-on-year.
Events happen around us all the time, in our community, in our country, around the world. Events that affect people, move communities, or simply inspire us. Interesting events that people need to know. In these interesting times, we continue to be a competent partner in delivering news about these events. Fast, accurate, balanced, eagle news, because we live in interesting times.
Watch your favorite Net25 shows live and on demand, anytime, anywhere on any mobile device on OSN Play. I'm Eden Santos of Net25. Approved!
Welcome back. Mount Sinabung on Indonesia's Sumatra Island erupts, sending a massive column of ash and smoke into the air and coating local villages in debris. The volcano has been rumbling since 2010 and saw a deadly eruption in 2016. Watch this. The closure of the glittering Thai Bay made famous by the movie The Beach has been extended for another 2 years to allow a full recovery of its corals and wildlife, an official said Thursday, drawing a sharp rebuke from the tourism industry. Maya Bay, ranked by cliffs on Koh Phi Phi Lay Island and surrounded by azure waters, was made famous when it featured in the 2000 film starring Leonardo DiCaprio. It was shut last June by Thai authorities due to worries the white sand paradise was suffering from the pressure of thousands of day trippers arriving by boat. The authorities had initially said the beach, a massive draw for Thailand's more than 38 million tourists, was going to be closed for 4 months, but the reopening was repeatedly postponed. Thon Pamrong Nawasawatat, advisor to the Department of National Parks, told media on Thursday the ban on visitors will be extended until mid-2021. And that is the latest news in the Southeast Asian nations. Stay updated about the ASEAN region. I'm Maricar Velasco and I am 1 with 25.
Abangan ngayong linggo sa Season 3 ng Young Ones Upon a Time. Kung ako